Yes, we are. And Scarlett had some things to say about this map as well, but I'll get to that in a moment.
Yep, spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, we have from Team On Fire, give it up for Scarlett, the pink Zerg.
And spawning up in the top right of Orbital Shipyard, up 1-0 in the series with some incredibly relentless aggression from Elevate. It is MaSa.
And that is MaSa's third expansion. Big shout out to Endersword. You tried. We love you, Endersword. But yeah, you know, this is a great time to take a look at these two real strong forces in the Canadian scene and kind of see how they go up against each other. You know, what's their history, how they've been facing and feeling versus each other.
Yeah, they actually, Scarlett, I'm a little bit surprised, has a significant edge against MaSa. I would have thought that based on all of the stuff I've seen online, MaSa would actually have the edge against Scarlett.
71% win rate versus MaSa. That is actually... oh, it sounds like they're actually flipped.
Ah, that's what I thought. I thought that MaSa had the better record against Scarlett. Okay, so it actually is 10-4 in favor of MaSa, which he has kind of been Scarlett's kryptonite a little bit, especially in the Toronto scene. And we were talking about his domination in earlier series, and oh wow, 700 APM there for a second. I don't know what he was doing. Probably playing Hearthstone on his
yeah, he has been playing a lot of Hearthstone lately.
Yeah, he's pretty good at it. Because he wins StarCraft games.
Yeah,
so he must be good.
I was talking to him earlier on, and I was just like, "Oh, yeah, how you feeling? You know, you finished your first match, and you're not gonna have to play for a while." And he was just like, "Yeah, you know, this hunter is, or sorry, this he was like, this mage was super dumb." He used different words, but he was super dumb.
Yeah, MaSa's a funny guy. He is actually going for that Reaper expand with the Marine follow-up. Very standard, followed up by the Factory. And Scarlett going for the, I believe, Hatch gas pool. And just going to get those 4 defensive lings to try and deal with any sort of Reaper aggression. Yeah. Hunting for this Overlord is MaSa, but Scarlett, knowing that MaSa is the smart type of player, sending her Overlord far down to make sure she gets across the map. And she has this calculated. She knows that the Marine will not get there. Oh, actually... If the Marine had scouted a little bit further to the right, it actually would have gotten there.
It actually would have gotten there. But, you know, that's actually just a really cute thing. It obviously goes to show that Scarlett is aware of who she's playing against, as Reaper is still continuing to be very annoying. But it also just goes to show MaSa is all about just getting his opponent's face and really messing with whoever they are.
Yes, absolutely. And we can see from the second Overlord positioning, Scarlett is afraid to actually send it past the middle part of the map. She realizes that those Marines are going to hunt it down if she tries to scout again, which is going to leave the entire left side of MaSa's base unscouted by Scarlett. So maybe look for a tech building to be thrown down there. Yeah. Nope, just in the middle of the base.
Well, there's still that Overlord that is going to be moving in and could potentially even just scouting out, I don't know, the barracks, extra barracks going down will be kind of nice. But again, going for that factory scout, seeing the tech lab on the factory will also be a really important reveal.
Yes, nice catch there from Scarlett. Is going to actually kill that Reaper finally.
Oh, we have Pneumatized Carapace coming out already.
On top of that, we also have a second and third racks and an engineering bay. This is going to be some heavy 2-base aggression from MaSa.
Very interesting. I wonder if Scarlett's going to be waiting for that Overlord speed to finish up, because if she does, do you think she's actually going to still have enough time to react to this and the fact that this aggression is going to be pushing out very soon?
Oh, definitely. Because MaSa's going to want to time out his attack with that +1. And yeah, so he's going to be likely waiting for that, but he hasn't even started it yet. As well as Stim is just now starting, so it's going to be slow chip damage. Going to try, to do some damage with this tank drop.
Yep. As it's making its way across the map, Overlord does scout this out, but I think Scarlett already realizing some of the dangers about this map. Try knock down those rocks or get it as low as possible. Going to be useful later on for a potential 4th expansion, but even just making sure the SeaChamp can't get into this position where only really the queens can start to contest it.
Yes, and as the Zerg player, you always want to target fire down the medevac if you can, because it's not so much the tank as the medevac that makes that a threat.
Oh, wow. Actually, did that Overlord, the one Overlord Scarlett had on MaSa's side of the map, I think it got sniped off before it really saw too much of anything.
That is a good question. She is still
it's-
going for a layer.
Yeah, I mean, she saw the starport timing, she saw the factory, and she saw kind of what was going on. So
I don't think that's necessarily enough. Oh, this tank drop though. Wow, I think that was one shot from going down. Barely saves it from MaSa.
So close, yeah.
Yeah,
And
one shot.
Zerglings are going to at least chase this away for now. MaSa doesn't want to tempt fate as he...
I think he's going to actually bait it to the high ground and get... Yeah, he's going to get an extra shot against those Zerglings.
Nope, Zerglings are in melee range on the ground.
Range from the... Oh, but still picks off 2 more Zerglings.
Yeah. A Viking joining in, still looking for some of those Overlords, despite the fact that Scarlett actually got a Overlord speed. Still ended up losing one of them. But.
Scarlett is going for a 4th base, and she is facing a 2-base Terran. This is going to be so hard to hold.
It is certainly going to be interesting. We have the Baneling that's coming up. 1-1 going to be finishing up for Scarlett as well. So she's not going to be totally without the tools that she needs to get a good engagement. But that creep spread, I've got to say, is not looking as strong as I would say normally looks like from Scarlett.
No, but if we look at the army supply, we're going to see a 25 army supply for MaSa. And this is actually a really tough position for Scarlett because, as you said, the creep spread is just not really there. 1-1 is going to be finished, and that is actually going to give her an upgrade lead, but she needs to get some really, really money connections with Banelings on those Marines.
Yeah, Combat Shields is still finishing up. Those Banelings are starting to morph in, and at least this engagement will likely be on creep, but MaSa is already set up in a beautiful spot right now. It's going to be so difficult for Scarlett to engage into this. Is she even going to try and save this third, or is she just going to wait for the Banelings?
She can't. She has to wait for the Banelings. She's overdroned quite heavily, and MaSa finds himself in a position where he might just be able to take a quick 2-0. Oh, target firing down the Baneling. Actually, baiting back to the siege tank even.
This is going rather well for MaSa, already taking out that 3rd expansion. Now, there is that 4th expansion that was recently taken, so maybe Scarlett can send some of those extra drones over there to start mining since it is newly established, but MaSa continuing to push on forward. He's not okay with just taking out the 3rd. He wants to go for the main.
Yeah, and I like this slow elevator. This is just such an aggressive push from MaSa. And Scarlett, with Baneling speed about to finish.
And Muta's coming out.
Random Viking still doing damage.
Just actively and unaware of the engagements that are happening right now, but Marines going to be pushed back a little bit further. The siege tank may actually end up going down. No, MaSa picks it up and manages to save it and just has those Marines still ready. But with the Mutals popping out, with Baneling speed finish up, I think this is finally, Scarlett has to break out of this right now.
Yeah, she does. Oh, we see a few Lings were positioned on the map to try and block a counterattack, or sorry, cut off reinforcements, but they were unable to do so. Just too many Marines and tank.
Oh, but the Mutals step into the scan. This might be the moment Scarlett has to go. She wants to punish this engagement. She wants to punish MaSa for overextending. This is the time, but some of those Mutals already get focus fire down. The Marines on the high ground are, for the most part, going to be taken out, but Scarlett is still trying to wrap around. No, she's trying to go for a counterattack again.
I kind of like this decision, but just making sure no more reinforcements come to... Oh, wow. Actually losing quite a few Lings.
Yeah.
She's going to be trying to hit this army from 2 sides, leading in with the Banelings. They actually eat a lot of tank fire.
Yeah, there's no longer any creep over here. It's going to be so hard to get those big hits. Overlords on all-out retreat right now as they realize, oh, actually, those Overlords need to retreat a little bit further. If MaSa only knew how many Overlords were at the top of that ramp.
Now the upgrades are about to be 2-2 for Scarlett, and that makes them so potent. But this is just such a big army for MaSa, stimming into the main.
Oh, and
taking down so many Overlords.
Nothing is going right. There's no more Banelings. Marines do lift up to retreat away from this full surround coming out from the Zerglings as well as the Mutalists. But more Marines are going to be coming on in. Another siege tank in the medevac joining up also with this force. Scarlett still has that kind of pocket 4th expansion. She still has 2 upgrades, but +1 armor is going to be finishing up for MaSa, and he doesn't care about the upgrades. He just has the raw units.
Look at the units lost tab. We see a 3,000 advantage for MaSa, and he takes down Scarlett to advance 2-0.
Wow. And that is... I mean, does that decide it? There was a bit on the line over here where Scarlett was saying Liberators are really good units, and MaSa won, so technically...
Liberators are really good units.
Yeah, I guess MaSa wins, but he also loses the bet.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think he'll take that, though.
Yeah, he'll probably be pretty happy. Moving on to the winners finals of Kings of the North.
I believe that guarantees him top 3 in the tournament?
Yeah, top 3 or maybe top 4. It's one of the two. Top 3.
That's congratulations to MaSa. He's going to be
Yeah.
pretty happy with that, I think, especially doing that in such succinct fashion. So he is, I think, done for the day.
Yeah,
Congratulations
he's done.
to him.
He can go relax and play Hearthstone to his hearth's content.
Maybe get another bubble tea. He got an ice cream cone
I think
yesterday.
you know, ironically, I think it was Scarlett that got the bubble tea, and
You're
MaSa
right.
was all about the ice cream.
That's a good point, yeah. So as we can see now, ice cream is the hard counter to bubble tea.
Yep.
Very important to note. So for anyone learning at home, always
It's much cooler for sure.
always eat an ice cream.
But of course, I do want to note that we will be hopping into our next series at some point of Neeb versus Puck. That is the other winners semifinals. Of course, the winner of that will end up facing off versus MaSa. And I believe that now we'll end up seeing Scarlett drop down to the losers bracket to play, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe she will play against No Regret.
She will. She will be playing against No Regret.
That is something that tickles my fancy.
That tickles my fancy as well. I love me a good ZVZ brawl. Yeah.
Specifically between Scarlett and No Regret, that is just so exciting because these two have such a history of back and forth where I really do feel like No Regret was struggling versus Scarlett, but he was one of the people that beat Scarlett in the actual group stages.
He did, and up until, very recently, I think actually No Regret had the advantage, but Scarlett has started to have his number in that ZVZ. It'll be very interesting to see if No Regret can take it down. I think he's actually pretty happy about this matchup. Against MaSa, I don't think he would feel very confident. But against
I think it's hard for anyone to feel confident versus MaSa.
Yeah, especially after a ZVT display like that. That was incredibly well done by MaSa.
Absolutely. But with that being said, I think that we may be heading over to our next segment, which will be our break, as I think that we're going to be taking a short little break before we hop into the next series. You guys are watching Kings of the North. I want to remind you guys that, of course, if you want to go ahead and show some support for Kings of the North, you can go to the Indiegogo page. There is a big kind of Kickstarter / Indiegogo going for that, and the link is in the chat. That's been posted by MoveOut a couple of times. And, of course, anything that, the money that's donated helps make the event possible, and, of course, also contributes potentially to the prize pool if we hit that $2,000 Canadian dollar mark, because I think we're at $1,630, not too far away. So if you guys want to contribute, definitely appreciate it. And of course, big shout out to Corsair, our sponsor. But we're going to be heading back to Jeopardy, I believe.
That's what it sounds like.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys in a little bit. Enjoy it.